We have been hearing a lot about XRP's potential future price targets. We've been hearing a lot about how XRP is set to explode. We've been, seeing all of these posts about how XRP is ready to go. And I know that it does get tiresome. I know that it does get repetitive. But in this video, I actually want to go over a lot of information, more so around TA, to really kind of show you guys where we are at right now and why you have zero concern at this current moment in time about XRP and where we are headed. So with that being said, welcome to the channel, everyone. My name is Nick. For those that are new to the channel, hopefully by the end of this video, you do become a subscriber. The overall market has been on fire since going back to November. And even as we do look at the market today, I get that the last roughly, I want to say like 2 weeks. I'm just going to say 3 weeks, honestly, because it seems like it all started in the beginning of December. So for like the last 3 weeks, it hasn't been that exciting around this space. We've just been chopping. We've been trading sideways. And a lot of people are getting a little annoyed with this. They're getting frustrated. Again, I say, when we really look at this space, are we really going to get concerned when this is what the 1-year chart looks like for XRP? This is what the 1-month chart looks like for XRP. XRP is still up 60, almost 7% on the 1 month right now. On the 1 year, we're still up over 250%. But even when it comes to Bitcoin, right? Like if we look at Bitcoin on the last 1 month, it hasn't done much. On the 1 year, though, we're up almost 120%. For me personally, there's no concern about this recent price action with Bitcoin or even just the market in general. Like if we really go and look at even just Ethereum, and I bring this up just to kind of compare and contrast. We go all the way back here to 2020 into 2021. Yes, moves were being made back here in 2020 into December, but most of the biggest, like the biggest moves of the cycle didn't officially hit until 2021. But it did start at the end of December in 2020. And this is exactly what I think is happening right now, as this market is just kind of chopping and we're waiting for something to happen. I do believe that the biggest moves of this cycle begin at the end of this month, which means we probably have about 3 to 6 months or so to really make as much money as possible off of these altcoins. Now, could we pump into the fall and even, the winter time of 2025? It's possible, but a lot of altcoins will top out earlier. I just want to stress that to you guys. But we're not worried about timeframes. We're not, here trying to predict when things are going to top out. The biggest thing that I mainly am focused on is just how bullish this space actually looks on the macro. And I want to stress that, the macro. So on the zoomed out charts, everything is fine. But on the lower timeframes, yeah, we're chopping. Yeah, it's bloody. Yes, it's not fun. But that is exactly what trading looks like. That's exactly what lower time frame trading is all about. So as we really look at the space right now, am I concerned? Absolutely not. I just want to make sure that you guys understand that. But let's talk about a few things. Let's talk about why I personally believe that XRP right now is so bullish and that a lot of people are just not bullish enough on XRP. Let's start off with the catalyst. Number one, we have the SEC lawsuit, which Gary Gensler is stepping down on January 20th. On top of Gary Gensler stepping down and the lawsuit most likely getting completely thrown out, it's going to be behind us, in my opinion, in Q1 of 2025. We have ROUSD. So ROUSD is now live on global exchanges. It's officially launched. And this is step one. This is step one with the whole tokenization revolution happening on the XRPL. But when we think about that, combined with what we're hearing from Ripple XDev regarding a lot of these amendments that are actually forging that path to institutional DeFi and tokenization as a whole, we have a big catalyst behind the XRP ledger, which is institutional DeFi and tokenization. And I do think that the ROUSD is one of many stablecoins that are going to be, launching on the XRP ledger. And then on top of this, right, we also have Ripple fully supporting Trump and this new admin. Again, when we look at this admin is pro crypto. They want to push this space forward. I've been talking about it for the last couple weeks now. And I do think that Ripple is aware of this. I think that Ripple is ready for Trump to take office, because I think that from that point on, very similar to, the big move off of the election, right? Because from November 5th onward, it was up only. I do believe that once Trump is in office officially, the markets are going to heat up even hotter. And I think that it's going to be very exciting, especially if you do hold utility projects, because I do think that they're going to have a big spotlight put on them. Now, on top of all of this, we do hear the talks about the derivatives exchange that is happening in 2025 for XRP and the XRP ledger. This is with Bitstamp, aka Robinhood. This is going to be very big as well. So as we think about all of this, let's look at the charts. Let's take a look at why altcoins, including of course XRP, are starting to get a little bit boring. Well, number one is Bitcoin. Bitcoin is kind of spoiling all the fun. On the daily chart here, we are finding some resistance here. We are rejecting the first initial level back here on November 22nd, right around roughly 99.6K. And this is after we wicked all the way down to about $92,153. There's a lot of demand around these levels down here. But when we look at Bitcoin, yes, is the max pain out of the way? Are we going to go lower? And I want to stress to everyone right now, if we look at the lower time frames, more so the 4-hour, okay? This is what the 4-hour chart looks like for Bitcoin. Currently speaking, when we look at this chart, we still have some higher lows. And if we're going all the way back to just the 17th, which was 4 days ago, I want to stress that 4 days ago, we have higher highs on this chart as well. So currently right now, I'm not too concerned with this chart, but we do have a lot of work to do. We have a lot of work to do when it comes to Bitcoin. First is reclaiming $100,000, which is going to be a big psychological level to regain again, because again, 100K is a significant level. Once we really kind of push through 100K, it's clear skies to 107K again, and then potentially to $110,000 plus. But in the short term, we're most likely going to chop a bit. Now, I am watching the midline. I don't want to see the midline loss, which is right around this 95.6K level, because this is typically when we start to see major wicks to the downside, and that could potentially lead to a liquidation cascade where we potentially actually go below $90,000. It is possible, and if we do lose these lows going all the way back here to November 26th, then it could get ugly in the short term. We're talking about mid to low 80K region. Now, on top of that, why are we focused on Bitcoin? This is an XRP video. We're talking about how bullish XRP is. Well, this is lower time frames. I just want you guys to understand that this will essentially be just a little pullback in the grand scheme of things. And just to kind of show you guys what I mean by that is, look at the daily chart for this. Look at the daily chart for Bitcoin right now. I mean, are we really concerned at all when the chart looks like this? Absolutely not. Especially when we look back at what happened this year already. This was March. After we had that nice run up, we chopped for a very long time until we saw the bullish structure form on this chart. Now, on top of this, if we go all the way back to 2021, what I was talking about with these pullbacks, being just a small little step in the grand scheme of things, I mean, let's actually look back here. I mean, here you have January of 2021. This is the first major correction. And by the way, look at these lows. Low, lower low, followed by another lower low. Also, lower highs. The structure here on Bitcoin on the daily was very bearish. But then we had a break off of the lows. Okay? We had a break off of the lows. We broke over the high, creating a higher high and also an all-time high, and that's what pushed us all the way up here to almost $60,000. So I just want you guys to understand that although yes, we are in a bearish structure once we start to see lower lows and lower highs, I want you guys to understand that we can quickly bounce back, we can quickly start to see a bullish structure form on the charts. Right now, Bitcoin is chopping. That's as simple as it is. The issue with Bitcoin chopping and the issue with the potential that Bitcoin can run these lows yet again is with how high Bitcoin dominance is, it's going to cause a significant amount of pain in the altcoin market. And when I say a significant amount of pain, it's just going to cause a lot of frustration. People are going to get, concerned. They're going to get worried. I mean, it's just going to cause a little bit of panic simply because of how painful it's going to get for altcoins with how high dominance is. Now, I have been following dominance for, a while. If we're thinking about why the altcoin market has been very, boring, it's because of this chart. If we go back to the beginning of December, we have this significant low, right? Altcoins are still doing very good. But then we have a big breakout. We have an impulsive move on the 9th, followed by a higher low and followed by higher highs. And again, another higher low up here. What we want to see is Bitcoin dominance completely break down yet again. We don't want to regain 60% on this chart. We want to see this thing continue to get battered to the downside. If we continue to break out the first 3 levels that I'm watching for, outside of just retesting the high, is the 618, the 702, and the 786. If we manage to reclaim the 618, I flip short-term bearish on altcoins and short-term bullish on Bitcoin because I do believe that Bitcoin is going to steal the show yet again. But I'm not expecting Bitcoin dominance to break out like that. I'm expecting Bitcoin dominance to top out yet again as a local top. I think that this is basically a dead cat bounce. And I'm expecting some lows to be ran after this, meaning we'll most likely break down below 54%. But the good news about Bitcoin dominance actually breaking to the upside is it provides us with even more time for altcoins to go even higher, which is very bullish. Because if we're expecting Bitcoin to reclaim 100K again and go on another big run, while Bitcoin dominance sells off, it's going to be just like the end of November, where altcoins just went absolutely parabolic. Just to show you guys, right? This is November 21st, right? We have November 21st. This is XRP, by the way. So if we go to the daily on XRP, this was November 21st right here. We went from roughly $1.08. We surged to $1.63 almost, sold off a little bit, and then continued to $2.90. That's what we're watching for when it comes to Bitcoin dominance and Bitcoin. And by the way, right now, when it comes to XRP, let's actually talk about XRP. Let's address XRP. I know that we're 13 minutes in. I get it, guys. There's a lot of information to go over. When it comes to XRP, I want to maintain these lows down here. It's right around $2.20 some cents. I don't want to see us lose this. If we lose this, the number one thing that I am focused on is XRP to maintain bullish structure. We have these lows back here, followed by some higher lows. I don't want to see us lose around like the $2.07 level. If we were going to chop a little bit more down to the downside, I don't want to lose this level. I don't want us to lose this level. I don't want to see us lose $1.96 either. I want us to maintain these lows. I would love for a potential retest of $2. That's totally fine if we wick down to $2, but I don't want to see us lose bullish structure. So far, yes, we've been creating lower highs, but we have been creating higher lows since going back to December 10th, which is something that I have been focused on. On the lower time frame structure of XRP, on the 4-hour, for an example, okay, we do have some candle body closes that are lower than the previous lows, but this is on the 4-hour. It's not a very significant time frame. It's just lower time frames. But I would love for us to kind of chop here and then have another impulsive move. Again, it's probably not going to happen. We'll probably actually break down below this on the lower time frames and continue to, chop a little bit until we find some momentum to push higher. And that momentum will most likely be Bitcoin dominance dropping to the downside, while Bitcoin has a nice little run to the upside to retest 100K potentially. That should push XRP above $2.40 to create a higher high on the lower time frames, which would be good to see. But right now, it's just chop city out there, if I'm being honest with you guys. And most likely will be a little frustrating. You're going to probably have to be a little bit more patient here until the end of the year, into like, roughly the middle of January. But the best part about this is that the holiday season is here, so you can spend some time with family and friends, take a little bit of a break away from the charts, take a little bit of a break away from the market. And then once you come back, I'm sure that things will look a lot better, especially with the new year almost here. So without this chart, though, I have been focused on the XRP Bitcoin pair, and just to kind of show you guys what's happening here, right? If we go back to November 16th, right, the first initial run up to the upside, we hit resistance, and then we chop sideways. This is a bull flag formation. We continued again, bull flag, continued to the upside. We're still bull flagging here. Even though we're just kind of chopping sideways, we're bull flagging, which means that once we actually break over the higher resistance levels on this chart, which is like around, we're talking about like 2,649 sats. I would like to actually reclaim these highs and break over them. But once this thing does break out, it's going to be a big breakout. And the proof is on this chart already, right? We already have a bull flag back here, significant break to the upside. Bull flag, significant break to the upside. But the difference here is that we have been chopping sideways for a lot longer. We've been consolidating for a lot longer. It's been about roughly 19 days now. And the longer the base, the higher in space, right? The longer that we consolidate here, the higher that we actually push on this next big move, which I do believe that it will take us to new all-time highs. But it's not just the Bitcoin pair. It's also the Ethereum pair, right? The Ethereum pair is already kind of having a nice little, move here. And I do believe that it is going to continue. We'll most likely create a cup and handle on this chart, if I'm being honest. But, this thing is in a bull flag formation, chopping, but it's chopping to the upside, which is very good to see. Back here, we had a little bit of a chop, boom. Back here, a little bit of chop, boom. Same exact pattern, except it's just expanded, which means it is a lot longer to wait for this, but it's going to be worth it once it does break out, because it's going to be a lot higher when it does break out. So far outside of the USD pair, because again, the USD pair doesn't really matter to me too much. Usually we see the moves being made on the Bitcoin and on the Ethereum pair. We still have to wait for Bitcoin to do its thing, but so far, the structure here is very bullish for XRP. In fact, I would argue that it's going to be very, very bullish once these do start to break out, because that's when everyone's price targets of the new all-time high being broken will officially be printed in. And I do think that we go to a new all-time high with all of the catalysts, with the overall structure that's out there around crypto right now leading into 2025. So I'm very excited about this. But on top of this, just to kind of provide a little bit of context, I saw a post by Credible Crypto, and he did say most are not bullish enough on XRP, going to absolutely shock a majority of participants here on Crypto X in the coming months, in my opinion. Locked and loaded. And I know that you guys are probably going to say from the title, you're probably going to say, from this whole idea of, oh, XRP is about to shock everyone, you're probably going to say, listen, Nick, we've heard this a million times. And I agree. I completely agree with you guys. But the thing is, what's different? What's different this time around? Well, number one, we're about to put the SEC case to bed. On top of that, there's a ton of catalysts around XRP right now. And the 2025 structure for crypto in the US is so bullish. I do think that we are about to witness some of the biggest moves on some of these charts. 6 years. It's actually about 7 years now. And it's just 7 years of consolidated pressure waiting for that big expansion to the upside. And we have here from Tony Severino, I'm potentially not bullish enough on XRP. The XRP Bitcoin quarterly chart looks to be exceptionally strong. And again, this is a macro chart. So just for reference, I was talking to you guys about lower time frames. This is a 3-month chart. From top to bottom, the 3-month candlestick is above the Bollinger Band's basis for the first time since April of 2019. Price touched the upper Bollinger Band. A quarterly close above the upper band is a buy signal. The bands are also the tightest in XRP Bitcoin history. 3-month RSI is through the RSI base moving average and rising towards 50. Above 50 suggests increasing strength. Some of the largest moves have been when the RSI was above 50. 3-month Fisher transform is flipping bullish as well with a multi-year bullish divergence. The 3-month MACD shows weakening bearish momentum and is close to flipping bullish for the first time on the chart. I've also been outlining this. The 3-month stochastic shows percentage thousands at the highest reading ever. Still a long ways to go until overbought. And yes, if we actually look at this, we can see what's going on here. It is pretty crazy when we take a step back and we look at this chart. It is coiled up and it feels very similar to 2017, 2018. Even when you look at the pattern on this chart and you go back to 2017, 2018, it looks so similar, but on top of it looking very similar, we have had a much longer time to consolidate, which means the move must be bigger. It's not going to be bigger in percentage-wise, but price-wise it will, which means when we're looking at XRP, the all-time high is the beginning, 5 to 7 initially, 10 to 15 bullish. We could potentially see $15 to $20 for XRP because of how long it has consolidated. But I wouldn't bet the house on those, targets. I'm starting to take profits once we break over the all-time high. 5 to 7, first major target taking or profit taking targets. And then after that, we're really looking at the $10 plus range. And, I'm very excited to see what happens next because I really do think that this is going to be one of the biggest XRP runs in history. It's the number one reason why I continue to talk about XRP outside of the, fundamental side and the long-term path forward. Right now, XRP is one of the most bullish altcoins in the space, and it is ridiculous to think otherwise, especially with the growing environment around the space. So with that being said, I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. If you guys definitely leave a like, subscribe, turn notifications on because more free content. You guys are more than welcome to follow me on Twitter and join the free Discord in the description below. And with that being said, guys, it's been Nick. Thanks for watching. Peace out.